Hi, how you all doing? Welcome to this Enlight Video Leap tutorial. In this Video Leap tutorial, I'm going to do some text transitions, animations, just to put over a project. There's lots that you can do, and I'm just going to cover just a few here, and then in a later video, I'll do some more. So I'm just going to choose this untitled project here, and all I've got in this project is just somebody on a bicycle. I just took these pictures in the summer. Just randomly taking pictures of people on bikes, and I've just added a few transitions to them, so that's easy to do. I've shown you how to drag things into projects before. Just watch some of my other videos, they're on there. And then what we're going to do is just sort of add some floating text and animate some text, and it's quite easy to do. So I'm going to go to the start of my playhead timeline here, and then I'm going to click the little text button down here. Now what this brings up is is text that's been added to this part of the project. If I wanted to extend this, I'd just take the end, hold it out and drag it, and it'll give you the seconds counter. You can see the seconds counter going up or down just right there. It gives you the seconds counter that so it tells you the duration it's going to be in the project for. Now if I look at this image below it, now this is 8 seconds. You can see that this is 8 seconds long. I can change the duration of this as well, the same way as I did with the text. And then I go back to the text, so I know my image is 8 seconds long, although there's this fade transition right here. But the image is 8 seconds long, and then the text is 8 seconds long. Now to edit the text, as it says, I'm just going to double tap. So I've just double tapped, and because I'm on my I'm actually on an iPad Pro 10.5 and size 10.5, so got the keyboard and stuff. I'm just gonna double tap, and I'll get this text sort of option at the bottom. I'm just gonna type text. I'll just leave it as summer. I'm just gonna leave it just summer like that. I'm not gonna try and do anything too fancy, and that's not the point. The point of showing you what I'm doing here is showing you the animated text. So I'm just going to click this little tick button in the bottom right hand side to say I'm done with that text, and then I suppose we could change the font. So we just got fonts right here, and we can change the font of this text, and I just want to keep it really simple, so I'm just going to select this Open Sans. Now I want to go back to my original menu. I click the double arrows here. Now what I could do, I could change the color by selecting a color swatch, but I just want to keep it, as I mentioned, nice and simple. And I could also, the outline is annotated or edited with the stroke, so I'll go to the width of the outline, and so you can change the color on that as well if you like. Don't want an outline, so I'm just going to click back. And like I said, my text is really simple. All I want to do is animate it. So I'm going to come back in my timeline, just slide my finger along my timeline, and just come back to the start of my timeline. And then I'm going to drag this text up off my screen, but so I can still see the box around the outside. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the little keyframe button on the right hand side here, bottom right hand side. So that keyframes that text, and that text won't move. It will stay in that corner for the duration that text is in. But what I want to do is I want to move my timeline along till I get to this sort of 8 second marker, just to the end of the text, and then I'm just going to drag the text down the screen and back off the other side. So now over that duration, I play that, my text will float over the screen and go off the other side of the screen as the other image comes in. So let's go back a little bit and go back to this keyframe here. So I've put my text over the keyframe where my text leaves the screen. What I want to do is, over this duration, I want that text to fade out, so it almost won't get off the end of the screen. It will have faded out beforehand. So I'm just going to hover over this keyframe right here, and it becomes pink and animated, becomes pink and active. And then I'm just going to click opacity. Now, when the text comes in, you're going to see it fully, but by the time it gets to this point, it's going to have faded away, dissolved away. So you can see that that's happened now. If I click that playhead, over that duration, it will just nice and slowly fade out, so that when that other image fades in, that summer text is fading out. So let's go to the start of this image fading in and out. Let's click little back to go back to the previous menu, so that you see that folds that text up, and if I want to animate it again or edit it again, I just have to click the little text icon, and then to fold it, I'll just click the image. So I'm going to go back, because obviously it's opened another menu for me, so I'll click the image. So I've got nothing selected. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some more text. So I'm just going to click the little text button right here. I'm going to extend that text out so it's 8 seconds long, like so. I'm going to double tap. We're just going to change the text. Click the little tick button to change the text. Go back to the start of this timeline right here and drag this text off the screen. Okay, so I'm going to click my little keyframe button, so that's where it starts, the bottom right hand side. Go up to towards the end of the text and drag it back this way off the screen, like so. But also this time, you know that this is going to fade left to right on the screen. I'm going to click opacity once we're up there and drag that opacity down. So now, if we play through that summer fades out, the biking comes in and fades out again. But I'll tell you what I didn't do, what I've just noticed. So obviously this is active now, this text. I can go and change the font after I've made any changes and change it to Open Sans. So now this will fade in as that one fades out. Which is quite a nice transition. But could we make it smoother? Let's have a look. Do we want them overlapping? I suppose we could have them overlapping. To make them overlapping, I'm just going to highlight this text here and then drag this down. And then I will have to change my keyframes. What is a shame is that, and I really think the need to do this, is you can't move the keyframes once they're in play. You have to keep them active. So this is good to show that that we've made a mistake. I'm just going to remove keyframes. So to remove the keyframes, you hover over them and then just click the little remove button. So let's go here where that one starts, and keyframe. Go to the end of this. Bring the text across. Click the opacity again, and then fade that out. So now it should look a little smoother with that coming in just as the other one's fading out, which is quite nice. That one fades out. As that one fades out, we start a new image. So here on a new image, to go back to our menu, click the text again, drag that out towards the end of the project, just 7 seconds. In fact, I want to go 8, 7 seconds. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. This time we are going to keep this text, so we're going to just call this the views, maybe. Click the little plus button. Now with this, what I want to do on this one, I want this text to be a bit bolder, I suppose. Let's have a look at this. No, it's a bit too... So there's lots of text that you can have. No, actually, I'm just going to stick with that original text that I had. Go to the start of that text coming in. I'm going to pinch and squeeze and make it really small with my fingers. Just move it to the center. Pinch and squeeze. Click the keyframe button. Scroll all the way up to the end of the project. Pinch and squeeze. Pinch and squeeze. Pinch and squeeze some more. Just like get this like so. And then, so that should play nicely as we bring in the views. We could even, I suppose, sorry, I moved my text. I didn't want to move the text. And I've created a keyframe there. So I'm just going to remove that keyframe. So what we could do is we could move this text again, but then we'd have to redo our keyframes. Yep, this is really quite simple, quite effective. And if we let that play through, you'll see what it's like at the end. You can put some music over it or whatever. But that's animating text. There's lots of other ways that you can animate text with some stock sort of some stock things that you can do. So you could sort of mask it, I suppose. Yeah, you could blend it in different ways, like so. So we could have our text blended a bit like this, or like this, or like this. Yeah, so we could have the text blended like this. It's quite nice, that overlay. So that will just overlay the text, the final one, so it'll take on the form of the background as well. So that's quite nice. What else could we do quite quickly? Let's have a look. We could have a shadow, I suppose, to the text. Let's have a look. We could add a shadow to the text. Just make that shadow a little bit bigger, but you probably wouldn't see it. So the shadow just behind the text on the edges there. So that makes the text just look a little bit. You could even turn the opacity up the way so you could see more of the shadow. Make it a different color if you wanted. Change the softness of the shadow so it sort of blurred, if you like. Ramp the opacity up a bit more, so now you've got a bit more of a text effect going on as well. But that's just like really basic text effect. So that's quite nice. I hope this video has helped you out. I'll do lots more with text, animating text, and the type of things that you can do. Thanks a lot for watching.